Welcome back to the home front. I'm your host, Reed Galen. Today, I want to share a few thoughts on what we saw in Utah on Wednesday, if you're hearing this on Thursday or later. I wrote this over on Substack as well, so you can read it over there if you'd prefer. But just let me give you a few thoughts. As a wave of insurrection crashed against the United States Capitol 4 years ago, I got a text from a friend of mine in Egypt asking if I was okay. I wasn't, I told him. He'd witnessed Tahrir Square in 2011 and wrote back, quote, "Once political violence infects a country, it's very hard to get it out again." And that's, I think, guys, what we're seeing now. In Orem, Utah, yesterday, the flywheel of violence claimed its latest victim. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk, speaking to a crowd of about 3,000 people, students at Utah Valley University, a single shot rang out, knocking Kirk backward and off his stool. And I can tell you guys, having seen it, if it comes up on your feed, don't see it. Around the same time, one state over in Evergreen, Colorado, there was another school shooting, the 9th of 2025, where students were killed or wounded, according to Education Week. 3 students are in the hospital, 2 in critical condition. Now, I've written a fair bit on the scourge that is gun violence in America, and I won't repeat my raw feelings here. After driving my 15-year-old home from school yesterday, though, my soul is worn thin. "Why are we okay with children dying or people being killed for their political beliefs?" she asked me. "What is wrong with us?" She looked over at me. "Are you going to answer?" I don't have an answer for her or myself or anyone listening or seeing this. That she has to ask that question both enrages and crushes me. That she told me that the new wing of her high school features bulletproof glass in the classrooms makes me scream at the wind. To say there's no place for political violence is necessary at moments like this. However, the words belie the reality of our time. There is political violence in America, and we'll see more of it. Per Reed Epstein yesterday in the New York Times, he wrote, quote, "Violence against political figures was once the sort of thing that happened in unstable democracies far away. Now is a fact of life in America, like the school shootings that once shocked the national conscience." That's my emphasis. Before Charlie Kirk, a right-wing political activist, was fatally shot on a campus in Utah on Wednesday, there were 2 attempts to assassinate Donald J. Trump last year while he was the Republican nominee for president. A Passover firebombing at the residence of Governor Josh Shapiro, Democrat of Pennsylvania, middle-of-the-night shootings of Democrat state lawmakers in Minnesota, and a man officials said was fixated on the coronavirus vaccine who killed a police officer in a shootout at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention headquarters in Atlanta. This is all just since last summer. Now, from the Oval Office, President Donald Trump deemed Kirk, quote, "a martyr for truth and freedom." He expressed outrage that anyone would threaten Americans simply for their political beliefs before blaming, quote, "radical left extremists that have hurt too many people and taken too many lives." Elon Musk, not to be outdone, tweeted, "The left is the party of murder." History is replete with reactionary violence in the wake of political killings. The killing of a German diplomat in Paris by a young Jew was the predicate for what we would come to call Kristallnacht. In the coming days and weeks, the Trump administration and its allies will use Kirk's death as an excuse to blame Democrats and, quote, "the left" for any and all crime, disturbances, and violence. The actions will range from the strange, as in flying American flags at half-staff, to the extreme, for calling on Democratic governors to freely allow federal officers and troops into their states without complaint. Trump will use Kirk's death as a means to an end for his own political benefit. After weeks of trying to get his repellent relationship with Jeffrey Epstein out of the news and off the minds of his most fervent supporters, the president will enrage his base with screams about Antifa and other leftist violence. And it'll probably work. As we commemorate the 9/11 attacks, yet another act of political violence, we'll be hard-pressed to find the better angels of our nature, let alone listen to them. We are in a dangerous, upside-down era in America and around the world. The natural instinct is to keep our heads down and our mouths shut, to preserve our personal safety and those of our loved ones. That is the easy way to go, but we do not live in easy times. We live in difficult days with incredible challenges ahead. Now, we must look within ourselves and dig that much deeper for grace and patience and forbearance. These traits should not be conflated with capitulation. Quite the opposite. We require cool heads, full hearts, and strong backs for the struggle ahead. Only after we've navigated these rocky shoals will we be able to look at our children and answer the questions whose answers today escape us. It's just a brief one today. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, you can find me on Substack at the Homefront. I hope if you're listening to this, you'll subscribe there. You can also find me on Twitter, TikTok, says.us, and Blue Sky at Reed Galen, and on and on Instagram and Threads at Reed_Galen USA. Everybody, please be safe out there. Hold your families close. Keep a head up, looking towards the future, not backwards and down. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and I'll see you next time.